Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. This week, we're talking about Oathbringer, chapters 52 through 57. We're in Dalinar flashback. We have a DDF, as I like to call it. That sounds sexual, but it's not. Dalinar Daddy flashback, where he gets to meet his second son for the first time while he's in the midst of a struggle. And it's a little awkward, and it's a little sad. It's also a little heartwarming. There's a lot of emotions going on in that very first section there. And then we flash back to Yasna, and they're in the library, and they're having some meetings. She's talking to some interesting folks about the heralds, Nail, whatnot, and then Renarin discovers a music library, which is pretty interesting. And then we go over to Moash, who we don't care about. No, we'll talk about it a little bit. Moash goes up into the sky, makes some new friends, which we may have predicted something like that might happen. And then we go to Rlain, who's a little sad and down, understandably so. And maybe we've got a little hope at the end of that chapter with Kaladin. And then we go to another vision with Dalinar, and the Kid Emperor's there. And then Odium shows up. Super scary, super spooky, but super interesting. And then also, for some reason, Lift is there. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. With me, as always, is...
I feel like you could say, for some reason, Lift is there a lot. But I'm Data.
I'm Jamie.
And for some reason, Daki's here.
Yeah, and if I didn't say so before, my name is Joe. Hang on to something, everyone. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
Yearnings intertwined, the golden age in ashes once again. Under stirring stars, in the burning shards, kindle fragments of the fallen rain. So look to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn. Stronger together now.
Yeah, so we did a bigger chunk of chapters this week. I'm curious what you guys thought, if it felt like more than usual, or if it felt fairly close to the same, or what. Although, before we get into... I want to say it's funny that Joe came up with his Dalinar Daddy flashbacks thing, his DDF, because there is an organization in a different Brandon Sanderson book called the DDF. So,
really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
For Dalinar Daddy flashback, or no? I'm guessing no.
No, it does not. Sorry.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Missed opportunity.
But yes, what did you guys think of these? We did 6 chapters this time. What do you guys think of these 6 chapters and of our first attempt at like bigger chunk of text?
You know, it didn't really feel like that big a chunk, and I'm glad we went as far as we did, so we didn't have to kind of split that flashback. So that was nice to be able to kind of fit it all in and get to the end of the part, which I don't think I said that before, that it was the end of part 2.
I think the original one had us cut off before, like the last 2 chapters would have been combined with the interludes, so we would have gotten the flashback and the interludes instead of but yeah.
No, yeah, I like this better. It kind of gave me like when I stopped reading, I was like, oh, cool, Odium, and then also like end of part. Now I'm done. Like it gave me a kind of a sense of completion for the section that we read. But yeah, again, like I get the flashbacks, I get the characterization building, and like I said, Dalinar flashbacks are probably the ones that I've found the most interesting so far out of all the books we've done. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. Can we get to the part where like there's a particular event that shapes Dalinar? Can we get to that part? Because I'd like to get there. But I get it. I mean, we've got a lot of book to go, and you can't just throw it all in at once. But I do sometimes like get a little tired of the flashbacks. This one was good. You know, it had some good emotional beats. It kind of gave us a lot of good internal monologue for Dalinar of like what's going on, how he's feeling, these kind of 2 sides of him pulling him one way or the other. And it kind of bookends nicely with the end of the section where they talk about passion, right? Because that's literally what it almost seems it's literally what Dalinar's dealing with. He's dealing with like these different passions inside of him, like wanting to be a good husband, wanting to be a good father, wanting to be a warrior and just do his thing, be the Blackthorn. So in that sense, I did enjoy it. The Yasna stuff, I really like being inside of Yasna's head. It's a different, we didn't get a lot of that in the other books because, for one whole book, they wanted us to think she was dead. In another whole book, I don't know if we had a Yasna perspective. I think everything we saw was through Shallan. So
yeah, I think you're right.
So to have a Yasna perspective to be inside her head, it's actually pretty interesting. There wasn't a lot that happened in this particular chapter. We got some good information about what other people in other parts of the world, these two correspondents that she has, are kind of seeing. We also got to see a little bit of the kind of working relationship she has with her Spren, which was kind of interesting. And then the Renarin stuff, yeah, we really need to figure out what's going on with old Renarin, because obviously he's got stuff going on, but he's being real tight-lipped about it. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this kind of revelation of a musical gem-filled library thing is about. I hope we'll get more information on that. And yeah, the Moash stuff, I think we've all kind of sensed that maybe this was the direction it was heading in, right? He's among the Parshendi, or whatever they are at this point. He's among these people. Moash, I think, is supposed to be kind of like that underdog guy, rooting for the underdog type of fellow. I think that's the sense we're supposed to get about his character. I think he and Kaladin are a lot alike in that sense, which is probably why they were friends. And so he's kind of got, the giant chip on his shoulder, to the extent of like, what am I going to do for these people? And then like, hey, I need to talk to somebody in charge. And then them seeing his passion, which that word came up in the Moash chapter, and then again when Odium was talking to Dalinar later. So that's probably pretty important. Anyway, so we've got the Moash stuff, and then we go to R'lain. And you do kind of get this sense of like he's completely cut off from what his people were, because now they're no longer what they were. And it's really bumming him out, which is understandable. And he feels so misunderstood and not really treated like an equal among the team, which again is very understandable. But it is kind of a bummer to read. The Dalinar flashback stuff, interesting that things are progressing where he can like change the flashbacks or bring people to the flashbacks even without High Storm. And to get Kid Emperor on his side, and then for Odium to show up and kind of give us some of his like, because I think in all the other books that we've read, even, we don't really ever talk to Odium. I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that we're reading a character talking to him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So to get a glimpse of him and like what he, what form he's taken on, don't know if that's his true form or if it's just one he's showing to Dalinar. But to get that and to kind of hear a little bit about what he's about, and then for him to be kind of using some spooky powers on Dalinar, really cool way to end the part. It's not a super climactic battle, but it is this kind of like, hey, who's the big antagonist? Here I am, and guess what? You don't know shit. Like, it was kind of a cool moment. So I really enjoyed it and enjoyed the whole section.
Yeah, this is, and you've been talking for a while about like who's our bad guy, like, because Odium has been more of a like sort of nebulous force than anything else, and now we have a scene where it's like, hey, meet Odium, see why, see how you like him. How do you feel about this dude?
Yeah. Also to find out from him that I guess the magic lady is cultivation. Also interesting.
Yeah, cultivation. Interesting indeed. And I kind of get what you mean about the flashbacks here, where you're like, I'm ready for like something big to happen, like some big defining moment for him. At the same time, I feel like if we'd missed the birth of his son, or this section where it's like he's meeting his other son for the first time, I feel like I would have felt that we'd missed some important development, because we are starting way further back for him than we started for anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like these are some big integral life moments. Mm-hmm. I would have felt cheated if we didn't get that.
No, yeah, I totally hear what you're saying, and I will say for people who really like getting the history of like, well, we know that Dalinar and Gavilar did this giant conquest, but how did it happen? Wouldn't it be interesting to know? Like, for those that kind of historical background for the kingdom characters and things like that, I do find that interesting. But because I feel like the chapters are more surrounding Dalinar, his thoughts, feelings, emotions, and what he's doing specifically, we just get like a little bit of the historical significance and more of the character, like, kind of turmoil, which is what it's for, right? But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, if we were doing flashbacks with Dalinar, but then we missed these moments in his life, it would kind of feel like, oh wow, we didn't get everything we could have gotten. So I totally get it.
Also, we learn in this section that Moash is a singer's name, and so
yeah, I kind of skimmed over that just because I didn't really like get what the
because you don't want
significance. Well,
don't hear about
not
Moash.
no. I really just like at this point, I don't know what the significance of that is. Is that significant other than the fact that the Parshendi are like, oh, we like that? Like, what's the?
I don't know that it is significant, except insofar as like it almost feels like Moash had a different sort of name from other people, and maybe that like singled him out a little bit. Like Kaladin's name is also very different from most of the other people, like Rock, Teft, like these more simple, quick names, and so I feel like maybe that says something. I'm not sure what, but
Moash's family committed cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, who's in trouble now, Moash?
Yeah, these were good chapters, and I think that end. I'm going to start at the back and work my way. Sorry, start at the end and work my way backwards. I really enjoyed the last chapter and meeting Odium. I thought that was very cool. And again, because you sort of like in a book where people don't talk to each other, you don't expect the bad guy to turn up and actually have a conversation with someone. So that was really good. I need to sort of think on that a little bit more, see what extra bits we might have got out of that, or go and read it again. I think I did kind of like that Lift was just hanging around in the background there, especially when he was like, "Where is the girl? I don't know where the girl is." Stormfather's going, "I don't want that girl here." And there she is. But cool that they're actually going to come to Urithiru, if nothing else, to try the food.
I do love that's, and we shouldn't be surprised at this point that that's Lift's like qualifications. Like, wait, do you guys have good food, right? And you personally, like King of Urithiru or whatever, you eat good food, right? Because I don't want to come there and get some crap.
None of this military rations business for you. That's no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Nice to learn about cultivation and the fact that we have actually met her before, which is cool. Lots to, and now even more so, I want to get to the encounter that they had, and that would be really cool. Going backwards in no particular order, Yasna, I do enjoy getting her perspectives because we didn't for so long, and to sort of be in her head while she's watching Renarin as well, because we know everyone else is kind of like what's going on with Renarin, having that conversation with Bridge 4. We're very acquainted with Shallan's feelings about Renarin. But for her to be watching, it's like I don't know what's going on here. Like I don't know who Yspren is and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's quite clever for her to go to Shallan and go, I want you to draw them for the record, and maybe then Renarin will actually be able to show people what Yspren looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And there's talk about, looks a bit like a reflection and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit different, but
yeah, it sounds hard to draw to me.
Yeah, but maybe there's just something else there that like we're not looking for, the other characters aren't looking for. I don't know.
Mm.
But that would be like, hey, there's a way to find out what's going on. Take the scholarly approach and actually just go and ask, be direct. would be interesting and very cool. So that's fun as well. The flashback, Dalinar's flashback. Man, I felt for Evie here. I was like, you had a baby and Dalinar hasn't been there, and I understand where they're at in the story, and he's gone to fight and doesn't get to come home very much and stuff like that. But I was like, oh well, you know what? I felt all the joy at my firstborn. Guess my secondborn's not quite the same. The heir and the spare. So I did feel a bit for Renarin here as well. I felt a bit for Adolin as well. He's trying to impress his father, which he did, but then he's also like, actually, I don't know who you are. Like, are you my dad? Yeah, you're my dad. I don't remember. And having these characters be so involved in each other's lives now, like Adolin is at an age there where he would remember that his dad wasn't there. So that was, that's a bit sad. They're obviously, where they're living and in wartime and all that sort of stuff. Like I get it, and I'm sure Adolin gets it. and that would just be normal that your dads would leave. But, for Evie to be like, no, other spouses get to come. Like, dude, what gives? I have these 2 children and you are not home and you are not helping me. And, as a mum with 2 young children, yeah, I get that. Like, Jack, if you went around because you were off fighting somewhere, I'd be super pissed. Yeah, so I kind of was there with her. But there was a lot to unpack there, the fatigue of the battle and everything that's going on, and he just wants some space. And yeah, then you've got this whole other life. It's like the 2 lives of Dalinar. A lot going on there.
Yeah.
Moash, dear Moash. A little worried about his inner monologue telling him, it's okay, you're fine, you didn't do anything wrong, don't worry, Moash, it's all good. That's a bit terrifying to me. And yeah, I like we saw it coming that he was going to befriend the Parshendi, the fused. It's not looking good. We've kind of tossed between he'll be on their side or he'll then turn spy and go back to Bridge 4. But I don't know, between this inner voice and then other people being like, good on you, mate, like, and things are better on this side, I'm a bit worried about where that's going. I think he could be very dangerous. And we already saw what he was going to do to people earlier. Now on a bigger scale, on an angry scale for him, I think that's going to be a wild time.
Yeah, no, that may be. I'm not going to disagree with you there. It seems like that might be a wild time. That's good. That's a good descriptor. I like that. Sorry, some of the stuff you said about the flashback really got to me because it's like, yes, it must be very hard. Presumably, Dalinar's like, a rich high prince sort of guy. Presumably, she has help with the kids, but it's like, Dad needs to be there. That makes a big freaking difference, right? So
yeah.
And it's like a cultural thing where they're out battling so much, it seems like, that often, the wives and kids have to come because otherwise you'd never see them. But
exactly.
It seems like she's not, because he freaks out. He's like, what, you brought them all the way to like the front lines? You didn't like leave them back in the city? So it seems like one of the reasons she's left behind is because she doesn't know the proper stuff, how you're supposed to do this, which how could she know it if you never bothered to tell her? Someone has to teach her these things, right? She's not from here. So
also, I feel like she's been around long enough that she probably has some idea. She may not like live that, but maybe if you had communicated, like there are letters, multiple letters that he just hasn't gotten around to having someone read to him yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. How messed up is that?
I would be desperate too and be like, okay, it's not even that you haven't come home. You're not communicating. You're not doing, like, we know you're alive because we would know if you weren't. And, everything stopped. Like, you take drastic action for sure. Yeah, maybe probably wouldn't bring my kids to the front of the battle. But for her to turn up, not exactly shocked at all.
Yeah.
Don't ignore me over here. I can be useful to you.
You never responded when I asked you what to name our child. And like, come on, dude.
Yeah. And I thought, like, I'm sure that Dalinar is turning that corner, but I feel for his character and development, having to go back and fight again. I think he said it was like 4 years back fighting. It's like, that's a real blow to where he was going, becoming the family. Like, he was so happy and so proud when Adolin was born. Think about the dad that he could have been if he'd been given the opportunity to be around and raise him. And for Renarin as well, like, you kind of understand his perspective a little bit now. He's like, well, I'm here. And like, we've seen Dalinar is sort of showing up for him now. Better late than never, but it sounds like he wasn't there from the beginning and probably wasn't there after this in his youth as much. So yeah, feel for him.
Yeah, for sure. And the only other thing is I was going to say is both you and Joe have touched on how interesting it is now. Our second time, I guess, seeing in Yasna's head. And is it 2 or 3, whatever. And she's such an interesting character. And part of it may have been that just in that first and second book, we never got the chance to see inside her head. She was like the all-knowing mentor figure or whatever, and then, quote, dead. But just seeing how like capable she is from inside her own head is really interesting to me. I personally, Yasna is a character that I really like, so that's part of it. But
it's a character we seem to know so well, and then you realize we actually have no idea. We've only got other people's perspective of her.
Yep.
Up until this point, so I really like being in her head. I have a whole book from Yasna's perspective. That'd be amazing. Make up for lost time.
So these chapters, like this was another one of those sections where it's like, okay, first few chapters, there's interesting stuff going on here. There's a lot to talk about, and then the last chapter just drives it all from my mind because holy shit, 2.5 chapters in, and finally we meet the bad guy. Yes, like so, big odium looks kind of like Mr. Burns from the description.
I don't think I'd ever thought that before. Now, when we get there, we're gonna have to make that comparison. Okay.
Yep. So that was amusing, but it's like he seems like an interesting guy, very dangerous one. Obviously, well, we knew that, but like just how quick he was when Dalinar tells him to piss off, and Odium's like, oh, is that an invitation for me to leave the planet from the person holding Honor's remains? And Dalinar's just like shit, I walked right into that one. And like it's clear Odium is just like letting him know, it's like hey, don't make those mistakes around me, man. I will take them. So that was really cool. The whole conversation between Dalinar and Odium. Dalinar says, "Well, now I've seen you, I know I can fight you." And Odium's like, "You think you've seen me?" And then just like does the whole like, "This is what I really am," and Dalinar's mind just can't handle it, and he nearly goes insane. Yeah, that whole bit was just awesome. So that occupied my thoughts for most of the time since reading the chapters, and I'd actually forgotten about some of the other stuff we'd read. But yeah, Dalinar flashback chapter. It's like the other two have covered most of what I would have said. It's like man, Dalinar, come on, get better. Yasna chapter. My favorite bit was just her dressing down Amaram because good.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that whole bit. That was amazing. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I like Jamie agrees with Shalon. Like that was amazing.
Oh yeah. Again, seeing inside Yasna's head, we realize how much we don't know about her. But it was cool to see her interacting with Navani and with Renarin. It was just seeing inside her head. But I loved seeing her just like Amaram is like trying to appeal. Amaram still thinks he's in the right, and Yasna is just like there are a lot of things I'm not certain about in life, but one thing I am certain of is that you are a fuckhead. And so
it's good. I forgot about that too until you mentioned it. It's great.
Yeah, and Moash. So people know I don't like the guy, but I'll say this: seeing him embrace villainy, even though he doesn't think of it as villainy, but like from our perspective and our protagonist's perspective, he is clearly an enemy and therefore a villain. This is interesting, actually. I'm all here for this. I like seeing Moash become like the dark Kaladin sort of guy. He's like, I'm going to train these people in the spear. I'm going to take the lessons the hero gave me and put them to use here. I'm just like, okay, this is interesting. I like reading this. This is cool. As much as Moash's internal monologue is all, oh, poor me, I'm right, I was never wrong stuff, I'm just like, you can go fuck yourself. But seeing him put it into practice and just like double down on helping the fused and the parchment and it's like, all right, I'm going in on this. I like seeing this. This is interesting. It's like, all right, you know what? You're doubling down. I'm here for it. Let's go.
So if he goes full on like mustache twirl evil, are you going to be like, okay, well, I'm liking this character again? Because it's okay to like a bad guy.
I wouldn't say liking him, but I'd say finding him interesting. Whereas before I just found him to be a bit of a whiner who was trying to appeal to Kaladin and just refused to consider other perspectives. That's all still there in his character, but what he's doing with it is different. He's not trying to be the subterfuge, like I'm going to go behind everyone's back and do horrible things because I'm right, but I'm still working with all the heroes. It's like, actually, no, I'm working with everyone that you guys hate, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm like, all right, I'm happy to read this. This is interesting, and like this is him going Darth Vader from my point of view, the Alethea evil.
Okay, I can see. Yeah, I mean, he really does seem to have gone. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yes, from my point of view, yeah. No, that is on track. So
yeah, it's like, do I agree I mean, like, I can't say I disagree with everything he's saying because we've talked before. Alethi society, not great.
Mm-hmm.
But like how he's approached things in the past, don't agree with how he's done that. But you know what? It gives us someone on the Parshendi side who is a perspective character. And while I disagree with a lot of what he says, I'm interested to see what he does.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm still not sure about. Okay, Lift fooled Stormfather, and now I either got ignored by or fooled Odium as well. I'm just like, what the fuck is it with Lift? How is she this powerful? But my impression of her was, that Simpsons thing where they're singing whatever the theme song is, and then Apu pokes his head in the window and goes, "For no reason, here's Apu." Like, that's Lift. For no reason, here's Lift.
Yep. Okay. I like it. She, a little bit. Lift is weird. I think we knew that already. It's just that we have not before understood the depth of her weirdness.
Yeah, and like, we need to know more. Maybe having her interact with our main characters will be a bit better. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Like, maybe this will be good for a character. Maybe it'll be terrible. But we're about to find out one way or the other. about to find out at a rate we're probably in like 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, we'll come and visit you, but yeah, who knows exactly how quickly that's going to happen. We know that the Azish don't exactly do things quickly.
Yeah.
You got to fill out the proper forms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into the actual chapters this time, I have one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about. Because we have now finished the section, we finished the epigraphs, and in this section that we read today, we got one whole new letter. And so I wanted to, throughout this part of the book, is it part 2? Yeah, throughout part 2, we got epigraphs that add up to 3 distinct letters.
Okay.
That seem to be Tahoid, from what we could tell, right? So I want to go over them, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on each one individually, and then I can use information Brandon has given us to confirm for you who each of these letters is from before we continue. So let me just read them flat out, and we'll do these one at a time. The first one was, "Dearest Cephandrius, I received your communication. Of course, I noticed its arrival immediately, just as I noticed your many intrusions into my land. You think yourself so clever, but my eyes are not those of some petty noble to be clouded by a false nose and some dirt on the cheeks. You mustn't worry yourself about race. It's a pity about Aona and Sky, but they were foolish, violating our pact from the very beginning. Your skills are admirable, but you are merely a man. You had your chance to be more and refused it. No good can come of 2 shards settling in one location. It was agreed we would not interfere with one another, and it disappoints me that so few of the shards have kept to this original agreement. As for Uli Da, it was obvious from the outset that she was going to be a problem. Good riddance. Regardless, this is not your concern. You turned your back on divinity. If race becomes an issue, he will be dealt with, and so will you." So that's the first letter. I don't know that there's a lot of clues in this one, but do you guys have any thoughts about who that might be?
No idea.
The only people we know would be either Frost or Endowment, because Endowment is the only shard we know of who settled on a single planet, as I recall.
You settled on a planet by yourself? Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right.
Yeah, and this one, is very clearly saying no 2 shards, like take one place, and every other shard we've met did a twofer, so except for Endowment.
Interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of it sounded like Sazed, but with the noble piece, but Sazed wouldn't know. I mean, maybe because he has the power of shards, he would know the history. But it sounds like there's somebody who has history all the way back to Adonalsium. So, and then as you progress through it, it sounded like autonomy, but then parts of it didn't sound like autonomy because autonomy is basically trying to take over all of the planets, it seems like. So, yeah, that's a tough one. I don't really know.
So this letter is in fact from Endowment.
Nailed it.
Yep, nice job, sir.
Yeah.
She's talking about Hoid coming to Nalthis and hiding himself, but she's like, I see you. So this is our first, since we didn't actually experience her in any way in the book that took place on the planet that she rules. This is kind of our first look at her, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
A little bit snooty,
Well, those people are snooty.
The second letter, in my opinion, has the most outright hints at who it is, but that's in my brain. So this one says, Saphandrius, bearer of the first gem. You must know better than to approach us by relying upon presumption of past relationship. You have spoken to one who cannot respond. We, instead, will take your communication to us. Though we know not how you located us upon this world, we are indeed intrigued, for we thought it well hidden, insignificant among our many realms. As the waves of the sea must continue to surge, so must our will continue resolute, alone. Did you expect anything else from us? We need not suffer the interference of another. Race is contained, and we care not for his prison. Indeed, we admire his initiative. Perhaps if you had approached the correct one of us with your plea, it would have found a favorable audience. But we stand in the sea, pleased with our domains. Leave us alone. We also instruct that you should not return to Obradai. We have claimed that world, and a new avatar of our being is beginning to manifest there. She is young yet, and as a precaution, she has been instilled with an intense and overpowering dislike of you. This is all we will say at this time. If you wish more, seek these waters in person and overcome the tests we have created. Only in this will you earn our respect. So how about that one?
I hadn't put it together at all while reading it, but now hearing you read it off like that, I'm just like, is this preservation? And like he's saying like, oh, if you come to Ruin, maybe Ruin would have helped you fuck Odium up because that's what Ruin does. But he's contained. Vin is our new avatar, and she don't like you, so.
Yeah, but I think once Vin took over the power, Addy and Lysarium, whatever that guy's name, Laras, I think they were gone.
That's true. Well, Laras was.
Right, Laras was, yeah. And then once she defeats Ruin, he's gone, and Sazed takes up the power. The only one that I remember talking about avatars a lot is Autonomy. So I'm gonna guess Autonomy just because the word avatar was used a lot, I feel like in the Lost Metal.
You think so too, Jamie?
Yeah, I thought it sounded more like Autonomy than Vin. In terms of the avatar speak, than talking about Vin. I thought they were talking about, what's her name? Yeah, you're talking to the person who can't remember anything. But yeah, I thought maybe that's sort of where that was heading.
So this is actually, this is a kind of a double thing, because as Joe pointed out, Autonomy is the one who creates avatars of herself. That's why we're getting the pluralization here. We think this communicate with us, because Autonomy has separate avatars of herself on each planet that she has conquered or whatever, just like she was trying to turn Wax's sister into the avatar of her on Scadrial, yeah. So it is from Autonomy, but more specifically, it is from somebody that we've kind of met before, but did not realize was an avatar of Autonomy. You got to think of the waters and the tests that we've set up and all that kind of stuff.
Waters, tests.
So six of the dusk.
Yeah.
So yes, on the 6th of the Dusk planet, he hunted on the island called Patji, which they personified the islands as like this family of gods or something. This is Patji, who is an avatar of Autonomy on that planet.
Oh, interesting.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
She's saying like, come to this island if you want to earn my respect and get past all the like death ants and giant monsters that sense your brain waves and whatever else, and then maybe I'll respect you.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, not gonna lie, I would love to see a book of Hoyd fighting off these.
Yeah, maybe that's what Isle of the Emberdark is. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe.
And also, it's interesting because she's like, I thought that this version of me was like well hidden among all of my planets. Like, how did you even find this one? Because apparently Patji is keeps it on the down low. And you also have to remember that this is way before 6th of the Dusk happens. So whether there even still is like an avatar at that point. Yeah, at some point in the distant future, we don't know exactly when. So maybe Patji isn't really even around anymore at that point, but that was that letter. So that one is really interesting to me. The fact that she's just like, maybe you should have talked to a different one of me, and maybe that one would hear you out.
I also like that somehow, even though they're all avatars of autonomy, which I think is what autonomy says, like, even though you're all piece of me, do your own thing in a way that will earn my respect to have my power. So it's like interesting to me that all these people could hold her power, but at the same time be doing like their like way different things and be, still have kind of an individual identity.
The third one, the one that we just read this time, I said the other one had the most overt clues. This one is shorter, but I feel like it's being made pretty obvious. We'll see what you guys think. So this one says, "Friend, your letter is most intriguing, even revelatory. I would have thought before attaining my current station that a deity could not be surprised. Obviously, that is not true. I can be surprised. I can perhaps even be naive, I think. I am the least equipped of all to aid you in this endeavor. I am finding that the powers I hold are in such conflict that the most simple actions can be difficult. I am also made uncertain by your subterfuge. Why have you not made yourself known to me before this? How is it you can hide? Who are you truly, and how do you know so much about Adonalsium? If you would speak to me further, I request open honesty. Return to my lands, approach my servants, and I will see what I can do for your quest."
That's gotta be Sazed.
That's Sazed. Like, it even has the I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, he's like, I'm least equipped. I'm in such conflict with myself. How do you know so much? I don't know anything about you. Whereas, obviously, it seems like the other ones know a lot about him.
Yep. Definitely, clearly, Sazed / Harmony. The I think, as Dak points out, is the big, look at me. But the interesting thing is, this happens before Era 2 of Mistborn. We talked about that, right? So we see Hoyd on Scadrial later, kind of like even helping out Wax in some ways. It's possible that after this letter, at some point, they've come to some sort of understanding with each other, or maybe Hoyd is sneaking around still doing his own thing. Hoyd, if you'll remember, is the one who throws a coin at Wax that later on turns out to have the memory of Kelsier showing up in South Scadrial and telling them, like, survive.
Yeah.
So he's doing something. Whether or not he's working with Harmony is, I think, still maybe unclear. But yes, so
Wax's driver for ages, constantly showing up where Wax needed him.
Yep. Even at the end of the book, he shows up with a boat to save Wax.
Yeah.
So I really, the letters are always, I think, my favorite, or some of my favorite epigraphs in these books so far. So these I've found very interesting from the first time I read it. I think the only one I didn't figure out when I read it originally was the endowment one, because I feel like there's not a lot of hints in that one. I made a guess about Patji even before. I think at that point we didn't know that autonomy had avatars. I think that may have been before anything about that came out.
Yeah.
But I guess that it was Patji because of the stuff about the ocean and the tests and things.
Yeah. Well, the Lost Metal only came out, 2022?
Yeah. And Harmony, that was an easy one. So that was a gimme. All right. Let's now that we've done that, we won't have to deal with that as we progress. Let's get into these chapters. So the first one, as we talked about, is after his father, a Dalinar flashback. And at this point, he has crushed the Herdazians, that was the first task that Gavilar gave him. Go out to Herdaz and, like, smash them. And apparently he
hadn't really done anything to deserve it.
Yeah, he said that they were, like, poking at the borders, basically, and apparently
I think
Dalinar...
that's a pretext. They always say, maybe. Like, we always start our wars by kicking the Herdazians over. Like, the Herdazians, it's like, we're just here, man.
Leave us alone. Apparently he beat them up so badly that it started a civil war, and so we don't have to worry about them anymore for a while. And now he is on the border with Yaakov and fighting back and forth with them. And he's just gotten back from a battle, and it was kind of a lengthy, tiring affair. They won, but it was a whole thing.
Yeah, what was it? They killed like 2,000 of their men, and they lost 200 or something. It was ridiculous.
Let's see. It was a complete rout. Yeah, we lost barely 200, and we got nearly half of their forces, 2,000. Yep. So that's a pretty serious beating that
it's like we took 10% of the losses that they took.
And he's so tired that when he gets to his armor tent and they take off his armor, he's like, "Yeah, this is my meeting tent now. I'm going to sit here. Everyone else leave."
But sir, we set the leave.
And Kadash, who is bringing him the report, is like, yeah, I think we've pretty much destroyed this particular raiding group. Unless they send an entire army out to get us, then we pretty much beat them. And Donald's like, yeah, they're not going to do that. Their king is too shrewd to try to go start an all-out war. He just wants to see if he can pick up some cheap land, basically. And we find out Dalinar is having to become kind of a general. Before he was a fighter. Gavilar would say, go over there, kill those guys, and he would go over there and kill those guys. Now Gavilar's not here anymore. Dalinar's having to come up with tactics, pay attention to supply lines, all that kind of thing. And he doesn't love it, but it means that he gets to fight and feel the thrill, and that's worth a lot for him. And then somebody comes in, and he's like, hey, I thought I told you to... Oh, shit, it is Evie. Evie, I don't know how you say. And it says he hadn't intended to roar, but he was so tired and so shocked to see her. He screams at her, why are you here?
Imagine your wife walks in, why are you here?
The hell are you doing here? Yeah, no, I would get the crap kicked out of me. And he's upset. His domestic life is suddenly impinging on his life as a warrior. And she's just like, I mean, other wives come. Honestly, we know that wives go on these things because wives are the primary scribes for their husbands. They write their stuff. They read their husband's stuff. So this is not unusual.
It's you need to be able to read what's going on. And that's where I come in. Hello.
And he's like, well, Alethi women are trained from childhood to do this kind of stuff. We talked about this. And okay, fine. Come in. Let's talk in private because the whole camp is watching us at this point. And she's like, okay, but what about the children? He's like, what? You brought the children to the battlefront? And she says that Navani told her she needed to come, that it is shameful that it's been more than a year since you visited, since Adolin has seen you. You've never even met Renarin. And apparently this is the first time Dalinar's even hearing the name of his son, because he's like, what does that mean? He's trying to work out the glyphs behind this name. And she says, no, Re is from my language. Nar is based on Dalinar. It's for his dad. And In means to be born unto, which we found out, I think, with Adolin, right? He was born unto light or whatever his name meant. And so he's like, okay, what does Re mean in your language? And she's like, it doesn't have a meaning. It's just his name. And so when Dalinar comes up with a translation, he's like, so my kid's name means like one who was born unto himself. Awesome.
I think it's kind of cool. Got a fun ring to it.
I mean, yeah, I don't hate it necessarily. Yeah. It is a little bit odd, but I've heard much weirder names.
I think Dalinar's point is it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And he's thinking from his society perspective, great, everybody's going to not understand my kid's name, and I'm going to have to explain it, and he's going to get made fun of because his name doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. You know what, Dalinar? You know how you could have avoided this? Answer your wife.
Yeah. No, Dalinar's totally in the wrong.
100%.
I'm not defending him. It is
no.
If he's unhappy with the name, it is entirely his fault. But
yeah.
Yeah, no.
I get your point though. In society, he always be looked on a bit weird. It's the guy with the weird name. Yeah.
And to be fair, he is looked at a little weird.
Well, yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with his name though. Is the thing.
I don't know. It could have all been where it started.
Maybe. And she's just like, I want to be more of an Alethi wife to you. And he's like, yeah, but these are the heirs to a princedom. You can't just bring them out into danger. Also, you would hate it here. Do you know how many people I killed today? You'd freaking hate it. And she's like, I mean, you could let them surrender. And he's like, no, they're not here to surrender. They're here to attack us.
I love that. I love how you feel for both of them, right? Because she's got this naivete to her where it's you don't have to kill him. He's like, no, I really do. and she's like, oh, really? I mean, you can't just and he's like, no, you don't get it.
He's like, do you want me to ask every single man, stop and ask them if they want to surrender before I hit them? And she's like, oh, with that? No, that wouldn't work.
I was being sarcastic.
And so they go outside to see the boys, and he realizes Adolin's gotten big. Adolin's got his little wooden sword, and he's attacking the evil chulls. He's playing around. It's great. And then when he sees Dalinar, he has to look at his mom to be like, is this the guy? And she nods, and he gives Dalinar a salute. And she's like, yeah, he asked the best way to greet you, and I told him you were the generals, so he came up with this all on his own. And I kind of like the interaction where Adolin kind of hides behind his mother's skirts, and he's like, "Are you afraid of me? Not unwise. I'm a dangerous man." Like, it's kind of silly. And he's like, "You don't remember me?" And Adolin says, "No, I remember you. We talk about you every night when we burn prayers. So you will be safe fighting bad men." And Dalinar's like, "Well, I'd like to be safe from the good ones too, but I guess I'll take what I can get." And here's his brother. Dalinar is expecting a baby, but no, this is like a toddler. He can already kind of walk a little bit, which should make you feel like shit, quite honestly, dude.
Yep, time flies when you're ignoring your children.
And basically, Dalinar's like, "Okay, look, it's been a long day. We'll talk about all of this stuff tomorrow, okay?" And finally, Dalinar gets to sleep, and that's the end of our flashback. And then we get this. Joe mentioned before. He's like, "I thought this glyph page would like give me information, but it just is confusing."
I don't know. I don't think that was on Mike. I think
that's why I mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. Before the podcast, I was telling Dana, I was like, I really liked this glyph sheet at first. I was like, oh, cool, info about the glyphs, and then I was like, I don't get it. It made me feel real dumb.
So I listened to it and I was like, what is this dribble? I had no visual. I was like, what? Okay. Took me a couple of listens to really figure it out.
You kind of need the visual.
It out. It's still dribble, but I needed the visual to really put it together.
And it doesn't say, but this feels very much like a Naz thing, because the whole thing starts out with him complaining about like having to get ink stains out of stuff, and he's like, next time send me somewhere more interesting. The secrets of the Calligraphers Guild are not nearly as cool as you thought.
Can you imagine? It's just like, yeah, you sent me some really boring place. Next time send me somewhere better.
And even looking at these glyphs, like he's making a point about how like the glyphs can appear very different and they evolve, but it is really hard to recognize from one to the next that this is the same glyph.
Yeah. I don't get it at all. And I mean, if Brandon is the master of this universe and he understands every single glyph and he didn't just scribble this out and be like, look, here's some glyphs. Kudos to him, man, because I am not good at like understanding or even trying to think of create symbols that have a meaning of some kind. So this was not up my alley, and it was very difficult for me to try to wrap my head around.
Yeah. And there's even a bit about how like some of these glyphs may be based on like they look like the animals that they're supposed to describe. It's like this one was this bat-like cephalopod, and you look at it and it looks kind of like that. And I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, it's almost like hieroglyphics, I guess, but at the same time, like, what? Why does it look like a bat cephalopod? What does that mean?
But it's hieroglyphics that can be like change, like Dalinar, the colon like symbol or whatever that Dalinar uses has two glyphs on it, Kokil and Coke and Linil. But it's not just the glyphs. They changed the glyph to look like a tower and a crown. So not only do you have these shapes, but you can manipulate the shapes, and they still mean the same thing, but you can make them look like something else. It's so weird.
Yeah, and if I understand from my very, very basic knowledge of Egyptian hieroglyphics, I think that was a thing in hieroglyphics too. Over time, and maybe I'm wrong. So, if a listener is out there who's like super into Egyptian history and they can definitely correct me, please do. But I think like over time, based on what gods they were worshiping, their hieroglyphics like changed shapes and the meanings, some of the meanings changed and things like that to kind of like based on what they were talking about. But maybe I'm misremembering that.
I mean, things do evolve, so maybe it would make sense. I really just want to point out one point of interest for me in here. And it's got he's writing out the glyphs for High Storm, which are a combination of high and storm, and then Everstorm, which is a combination of eternal and that same storm glyph. The glyph for eternal is apparently Kalak, who we know that is the name of a herald, right? But we were talking about like what Adolin's name means, what Renarin's name means, and it occurred to me that Kaladin's name, the first half of it, may come from this glyph, from the Kalak glyph, which means that whatever his name means, and I don't know what the Din part is necessarily a reference to, the first part of his name may mean eternal, which I don't know what the significance of that could be, but it was interesting to me, and I thought I would point it out.
Eternal Storm.
I mean, if he was like Kalalin, like Adolin, it could be like Born Unto Eternity, which would be kind of a cool name, but it's not quite that. It's something else. I don't know.
Born Unto Eternity.
Yeah, I love you got born unto eternity and then born unto himself. Oh,
Oh, man.
opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for reals.
I'm pretty sure my name means like God will increase himself, which is kind of interesting.
Let's see. Joseph name meaning. I don't know that I've ever looked that up. May he add another son, or God has taken away my reproach. Interesting. God shall add. Huh. Okay, so it's like God may God add, or he will add, and the implication is another son, I guess is what this is trying to say. Interesting. Okay. Fun. All right. Our next chapter is the Yasna chapter. Such a twisted cut. And it starts out with what I find to be a fun story about an ancient king of Yaakoved who, within 3 months of becoming king, like had been, or was it within a month? No, yeah, 3 months. He ruled for 3 months. And in that time, his family tried to assassinate him 6 different times, which makes me feel like he must not have been a good king, but I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe just not a good guy.
Or maybe his family just sucked. Who knows? But yeah, it's like,
I mean, based on what happens, I think he's just not a great guy.
yeah, you're not wrong.
I
So
don't
it's
think
like
anyone involved were particularly good people.
Yeah.
Almost certainly true. Yeah. His sister tried to kill him. His son tried to kill him. His cousin tried to kill him. It just kept going. And so
I like how I like. Sorry to interrupt you. I like how after the first like 3 times, they just kept trying. They're like, well, this time it'll really work. It's like, maybe you guys should stop because he's not getting killed on any of these attempts.
Yeah, right. And so after 6 attempts, he's like, all right, I'm gonna throw a big feast for all my family. Everybody shows up and he's like, look at this giant table with the big feast I've set out. Isn't it great? And everyone's like, oh, this is terrific. Yeah, you guys don't get to eat it. And he has his entire family executed.
Yeah.
And then he eats the feast himself and dies because he chokes and there's no one there. Which is just, it's ridiculous, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. It reminds me of a story that I once heard. This is a true story, I think. This guy was a dentist at a prison, and he said he wasn't really scared because all the prisoners, they either want to go to the dentist to get their teeth fixed / looked at, or they're scared of the dentist because he's got needles and tools and stuff in their mouth and whatever.
True.
And so they would often treat a prisoner and they'd be like, wonder what that guy's in jail for. Let's take like a wager on what this person's in jail for. And on this one particular occasion, this guy came in and they're talking to him and they're like, yeah, man, how are you? And he's like, I'm a little down. They're like, why are you down? He's like, well, I it's going to be Christmas time soon, and nobody from my family's going to come visit me, so I'm just kind of down. And they're like, oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that, man. And so after he left, they looked up what he was in jail for. He'd killed his whole family.
Well, that's a good reason that nobody was going to come to visit.
Yeah. So he's a little down because nobody's going to come visit him because he killed them. So
Yeah, no one's going to come visit me. I made sure of that.
yeah, I'm down about it though.
Yeah.
I feel like, not killing his family would have solved a number of his problems.
It's maybe,
Sure.
yeah.
He might not have gone to prison. Who knows?
And you have visitors on the holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know what his family was like. Maybe he solved more problems than he created. I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
think
they
that's
kept
true.
trying to kill him.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. Maybe there were 6 assassination attempts,
Yeah.
and then he finally decided he had enough. He had a big feast, and then he didn't choke on his food. He had a great time, but then the cops came.
You know what? Like it was a Christmas feast. That's why he thinks about it at Christmas.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It
See, I was
was,
going to say I don't know how much on Australian crime, how much you're up on that at the moment, but a news story we've had circulating fairly recently was the lady who killed her entire family, or not entire family, a number of family members using foraged mushrooms,
Oh.
death cap mushrooms, in a
Yep.
beef Wellington. So
Oh, in the Wellington.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man.
yeah,
I have no, I'm not up on Australian news. I'm ashamed to say, but yeah, that is interesting.
That's
Yeah,
a
so maybe
dang
it was the
shame.
death cap mushrooms.
How often do animal attacks happen in the news in Australia?
Not as much as you think.
No.
See, I don't eat mushrooms, and this is just encouraging me.
Yeah, is there any kind of fungus you do eat, Data?
No, I don't. I don't approve of eating fungus. Fungus will eat you, and
Yeah.
so I'm
It's true.
gonna keep the food chain straight.
I'm gonna keep myself at the top of that food chain. Gosh darn it!
This is not going to be a
Ugh.
circle.
Yeah, I enjoy a nice blue cheese. I don't know if that counts as a fungus mold, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of blue cheese either.
It's good.
Okay, sorry. Back to what we were doing. Sorry, that was a good. I like this diversion. I had to go look up this story about this woman, but the point Yasna is making is that kings, their biggest threat is often from within their own family, not from some external source. And she has gotten real good, she feels like, at protecting her family from outside threats, but it's harder to protect from inside threats. And we don't really get much information about where she's going with that, like what specifically she's thinking about, but it's on her mind. Meanwhile, they've turned that room that they found downstairs with the pillar, it's now become like science room where all the scientists hang out and the research various things. We kind of knew that from a previous chapter where they met down there. But she's impressed that Navani has like all the scholars working together. This is a place for research. And she's like, I tried for over a decade to get all these scholars working together, but everyone just wanted to talk about how I don't believe in their god. So I guess it took the end of the world to make them come together. And she's sitting in a corner looking at some stuff. And then she's like reading lips at the same time to kind of start gauging what's happening in the room. And there's, some talk here and there about different stuff. But then she notes that one of the storm wardens is like, that boy could be a powerful addition to our ranks. He shows interest in numerology and asks me if we can truly predict events with it. I'll speak with him again. And Yasna's like, Ivory, go listen to them. I got to make sure that Renarin doesn't fall in with this bunch of time-wasting idiots.
Like, everyone has a really negative opinion of the Storm Wardens.
Yeah.
Like, everyone seems to hate these guys. I'm like, how do they even still have a job?
Well, they do a very important job of figuring out when high storms are coming. So I think that's kind of helpful to everyone.
Like, if that's such an important job, you'd think that'd get them a little bit of leeway. But no, everyone we've spoken to, except for Amaram, who we don't even like, seems to really be down on these guys.
You're not wrong. I mean, to be fair, Shallan was down on the dude because she's like, that guy's a jerk. He acts nice around Dalinar, but he's really mean. Which,
I mean, fair.
Whether you're a Storm Ward or not, that's a fair reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yasna is for her, it's a little more intellectual. Like, these idiots. Which I guess that makes sense for Yasna. But... And so she's getting a conversation going for the first time since her return to life with two of her correspondents. One of which is a guy who is a pastry chef and keeps hidden the fact that he's also like this well-known, like he pretends to be a woman when he does all this research and stuff. And not many people know that he's secretly a guy. That's just kind of funny to me, is that dude is pastry chef, but also like a really great like historian and scholar, but he can't let people know about that part. It's manly to make pastries. It is not manly to do scholar.
I guess like because he's not supposed to know how to read and stuff.
Yeah. And the other one is actually a scribe in the Azish Royal Palace. So she's got like a contact in a high place there.
Mm-hmm.
And Ethid, who's in the Azish Royal Palace, is like, I think that we have a line on one of the heralds. Nalan, as you call him, or Naku the Judge, as we call him, which that's a kind of badass name for Nail, I have to say. Naku the Judge.
He's gonna knock you down.
I don't know why. It makes me think of like one of the Colossi in Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know why.
Naku the Judge. Yeah, I could see it. Or he could be like a secret character on Street Fighter.
And I love that this Jochi guy is like, oh, we're doing nursery tales now? Really? And she's like, in case you hadn't noticed, the Voidbringers are back, so maybe some of this stuff is worth taking a second look at. And we know that Nail has actually been to the Azish Royal Palace recently, so maybe you guys should listen. And also, hey, we have a Radiant here, an Edge Dancer, or we had one. She ran off. some Reshi raised on the streets. And Yasna's like, wait, we met her in one of my uncle's visions. I'm surprised you let her get away. And she's like, have you ever tried holding on to an edge dancer? Yeah, she went to Tashik, and the Prime says she's back now, but she's avoiding me, so I don't know.
We skipped over, like, while the Azish pal talking about all this, pastry chef dude is just like, man, I thought it was interesting when I said I got a glimpse of the real hero of the story, Axes the Collector.
Oh yeah, somebody has a sighting of Axes. He's always around,
like,
you know.
I was like, interesting. Yaz is keeping tabs on the Mighty One.
Yeah.
Axis the Collector, man. I feel like he needs his own short story.
I agree 100%. I would read a whole book about Axes and his Spren cataloging adventures.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I feel like it should be like a weekly Alamancer Jack type thing where it's like, where is he this week?
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Every edition just opens up with it's like, so I woke up naked in this place this time.
Yeah,
And it's just like it's like I'm on the
And if it doesn't
wild
start
cliffs.
with,
yeah. His cameo in the interlude with the girl on the Turtle Island, I was like, man, this is cool.
Where she's just hanging upside down.
Yeah, he's just there. It's like, oh hey man, what's going on?
He's so good.
It's like the next one starts like, so I woke up spooning a chasm fiend egg while the mother lay above us. But I should probably start at the beginning.
He's like a.
You're probably
He's like-
wondering how I got here.
Yeah, he's like a Hoyd. He's like a Hoyd, but just for this planet, where he's just like he's always around doing stuff. He's trying to catalog these Spren, but darn it, he's having a hard time.
maybe
You know-
it's some Patreon content. You guys can write a
Oh
Axis the
yeah,
Collector short
The
story.
Adventures of Axes.
yeah. Well, we don't want to take too many liberties. I mean, it's Brandon's intellectual property, the old Axes, but
No, that's true. Yes.
There might be some plan for him.
yeah, that's true. I would
Yeah,
love
probably.
we talked about short stories or like an Alamancer Jack weekly thing. What about like mystery spread novels of like in like a Hardy Boys type thing, but it's Axes the Collector. So it's like just a bunch of little like easy to reads. Be fun.
Yeah. It's like the mystery of the haunted tower, and he has to find out what kind of Spren it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then he
yeah.
finds out the tower is a Spren. That would be pretty sweet.
That would be sick.
Yeah, the whole tower is a Spren. I'm inside the Spren right now.
I actually went out to look at the words of Brandon to see if like there was any mention. Is like, was he going to get a bigger part later on or something? And several people have asked him in various years, will we be seeing more Axes? And his answer is generally, yeah, you probably will, but like little bits. So there's no indication that he's giving us, at least, that he's going to have a bigger role.
Come on, Brandon. More of Axes, less of everything else.
Yep.
Who needs this Kaladin guy? We got Axes the Collector.
We got Axes the Collector. Of course, if we had too much of him, maybe he wouldn't be quite so charming.
Yeah, you're probably right, yeah. It
Yeah.
might be a lift situation where less is more.
I feel like too much of Lift has already happened, and we don't even have that much. So
It's like the unmade all finally converge, and it's like we don't know anything about any of them. We need more information. And Yasna goes, "I know a guy."
That would be amazing. Yep. Oh gosh.
Axes.
But okay, so this Azish lady, her conclusion is like there's something wrong with this guy that I think is Nail. I don't think the heralds will be a resource to us. And Yasna says, actually, I can provide you with sketches of the heralds. I have drawings of their true faces provided by an unexpected source. But you're right, they're not going to be a resource. And then she amazes them by telling them, oh, by the way, all that stuff my uncle saw, that's all real. Like, have you read those visions? And they're like, what, really? Seriously? Okay. And as they take a break in their discussion at some point, and she looks over and reads Renarin's lips, and he goes, it's coming from in here, somewhere in this room. And then she's like, hey, Ethan, you were going to get drawings of the Sprens tied to each order of Radiant, right? And she's like, oh yeah, actually, I've gotten quite far with that. I saw the Edge Dancer Spren myself after demanding a glimpse. And yes, it's like, okay, what about the Truth Watchers? Because we still haven't seen Renarin's Spren, so she's curious here. Reportedly, they look like the light on a surface after reflecting through something crystalline. Which I don't know how you would draw that, but okay.
Yeah. So wait, say that again. They look like the light. What?
Light on a surface after it reflects through something crystalline. So I guess like if you reflected light
Shimmery?
through something
Like a
shimmery.
real shimmery light.
Yeah.
Like a lens flare.
That seems annoying to look at.
Yep.
And so Yasna starts going that way and like even gets Shallan's attention. Like something weird is happening over here. But before they can look into that further, Shallan's like, Yasna, the door. And who is there but Meridus Amaram wearing the Sadius colors because he is in fact like the head of the Sadius princedom now.
Yeah, what a loser.
Boo.
Yeah, I do love that. Like right away, Yasna is like hostile towards him. Like there's not even like pleasantries. She's just like, "What the hell are you doing here? Go away,
get out." And Shallan still doesn't like him, but
yeah. And like he's still trying to schmooze Yasna, which I'm like, bro, read the room. This is not happening for you.
He pushes this way further than any reasonable person would.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? She's not interested in what you're selling.
She was this close to turning him into smoke.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's like, I can kill somebody with my hand, right? I just gotta wave it in a super specific way.
And it starts out, I feel like, with him seeming reasonable. He's like, can we talk? And she's like, no, go away. And
yeah, even if he thinks that's reasonable, it's like after that, at that point, if she says no, it's like, all right, bro, you struck out. Go.
He's like, look, we need to talk. Like, there's this rift between the Sadius house and the Colin house, and I want us to figure out a way. And that's what he's been like. Even when Sadius was around, Amaram was telling Dalinar, like, we need to like be a united Alethkar. We need to this rift between you guys is not good for Alethkar. And so he's kind of going the same way now.
Thing.
Yeah. And that's what Dalinar said at the time. He's like, we're past the time where that can happen after the shit that Sadius pulled. But I can see where if Amaram really believes that's for the best, that he's like, look, I'm in charge of the Sadius house now. Can't we talk and work something out? He should go to Dalinar with that, as opposed to, he's like, Yasna, you can steer Dalinar. He listens to you. And Yasna's just like, yeah, no, he does what he wants. Fuck off. And then he kind of starts to turn it, where he's like, well, it's clear that he's been listening to your religious beliefs. And then he's like, we were close once. And she's like, no, my dad wanted us to be close. We were never. You really should leave before somebody gets hurt. And then he tries to pull this like, we thought you were dead, and I just had to see for myself that you're really okay. He's like, okay, you saw. Leave. And then he's like, why have you always denied me? And we get into a thing where she really goes hard after his mom, which is...
It's a little it's a little what's the word? It's a little low for her.
It's real low, yeah.
But at the same time, it's awesome.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to disagree. And he may be showing his true colors finally. It's like, you godless whore. If you weren't a woman. And the thing with his mom, I feel like maybe that's a little out of line. I love the next part where she's like, if I weren't a woman, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation unless I were a pig, and then you'd be doubly interested.
Damn, got him again. Way to go.
Oh, shit. Okay. And then he reaches out like he's going to summon his shard blade, and she pulls some stormlight and is like, oh, please. I dare you. I fucking double dog dare you. Give me an excuse to turn you into like a piece of crystal or something, you know?
Yeah, it'd be pretty sick.
And he leaves.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. But he has to like deal with like the scholars laughing at him as he leaves because, he's tried to start something with somebody tougher than him. And maybe because she was a woman, he didn't respect that fact. But maybe now he will.
I also like how the scholars are laughing. It's like, it's like, okay, guys, what did you actually do? Why are you laughing at him?
And Shallan is just like, hand over her mouth, like so excited. And she makes like a squee type noise, and it's just like, that was incredible. You were so clever.
Like, does Yasna know that Shallan also hates Amaram?
I don't think she does, because Shallan doesn't talk to her.
That's right, yeah.
Not anymore, at least.
It's like, yeah, well, I also hate that guy. Kaladin also hates that guy. We can all bond over how much we hate that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I'm not too fond of Kaladin either.
Shalon now knows that
Common
Amaram
ground.
didn't kill her brother, so like she doesn't really have a
Oh,
reason to hate
true.
him anymore, except that he's Amaram and he sucks. So
Just on principle.
Does suck.
yeah,
Yeah, just like
He's
why
got a-
we hate Moash.
Yeah, he's got a very Moashy quality to him, where he's like, it doesn't matter how shit he gets, he's still convinced. But I'm doing the right thing because
Yep.
I'm awesome, dickhead.
He's walking
Ichu has an
around.
internal voice
Yeah.
who's just going, "Don't worry, Amaram. It's not so bad. You're a good guy.
Yeah,
Keep going.
you're a
You'll
good
be
guy."
fine."
You killed
You
that
know-
kid's friends and took his shard blade that he won, but it's like, who cares? It was all in the name of the greater good.
Of course, Yasna loved you, and it wasn't just her dad pushing her into being in a relationship with you. Of course,
Yeah. Who wouldn't love me? I'm amazing.
But we're distracted from the conversation about this and about the fact that Shalon's going to leave with Elokar by Renarin. He like pokes a tile on the wall and it pops open and it's a drawer. And not only is it a drawer, there's like a gem inside, but it's cut in a weird shape with a hole drilled in it. And they're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone do that? Navani pops up and she's like, I mean, it'll lose Stormlight quickly and it'll vibrate like something fierce. And they put some Stormlight in it and it does start making like a noise. And Shalon is like, wait, there's a pattern to that. My Spren says that it's a code? Letters? And then Renarin says the music of language and put some Stormlight into the wall and a bunch of these things pop open. Like 100, 200, each little drawer with a gemstone inside. They found a way to keep their knowledge safe from the ravages of time in these gemstones somehow.
Is it safe?
I mean, fucking
So-
win for Renarin.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Although we're
Weirdo
left with the
Renarin
question,
does it again.
How
Yeah.
did he figure that out? How does he know?
It's got to be his Spren. His Spren's helping him figure stuff out.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And then we go to the Moash chapter, and we see Ken and Saw again, some parshmen who are with Kaladin, the two main ones actually, and they're cutting wood, and Moash is there, and he has realized that Kaladin Stormblessed is the reason that these guys are in this situation. And we find out that like the one person who had the kid, who was just trying to like keep their kid safe, like they took his kid. Like it's just fucked up, y'all. And Ken says, like, we were set up. They knew they didn't have enough humans to run the first assault, and so they found a reason to make us like fodder. What do we do about it? And it's like, I don't know that we can do anything about it. Like, these are our gods. We have to do what they say. And Moash is like, you know what? Fuck this. I want to go find somebody in charge, and we're gonna fix this. And so he just walks out.
Moash channels his inner Karen, walks up to the Pasha, and is like, I demand to speak to your manager.
I mean, essentially, yeah. But it's funny because like he has a rep. The overseer like sees him leave, and is upset about it, but doesn't do anything to stop him. The guards don't try to stop him. They're like, you don't mess with that guy.
There's like, oh shit,
that guy will
Karen's
beat
back.
you. Be like, just get the manager.
And so he finds a fused, and he goes, I want to talk to somebody in charge. He's going all Karen, like you said. And the fuse just turns and looks at him and then grins and then just laughs and like falls backwards into the water and floats staring at the sky. And Mosh is like, oh, great. One of the crazy ones. Apparently a lot of them are crazy, which that's news and not good news, I don't think. But then somebody comes out of the air and says, little human, you are passionate and interesting. And Lady Leshwi will see you. It's great. Where do I find her? It's up in the sky. So this Lady Leshwi is one of the fused who can fly. And apparently when they're flying up here, it says that she's wearing like this outfit that drapes like several feet below her, which if you're not flying would be very awkward.
Yeah, didn't they say like 10 feet or something?
Yeah, it's something crazy. And she says, hey, you're interesting. Where'd you get your name? That was one of our old names. Like, it's crazy how it's drifted through all these centuries. And Moash is like, okay, look, I don't give a shit. You're one of the leaders? And she says, I'm one of the fused who is sane. As if it was the same thing. And she says, where did you learn the surges? When you killed me, you were lashed to the sky, but you responded with familiarity. I was furious to be caught so unaware. And he's like, wait, hold up. When I killed you? And this is the same person that one of the few that attacked him and Graves and that he killed. She's back in a new body offered to me in sacrifice to bond and make my own.
Yep. A glorious new robot body. And says no body can be president more than 2 terms.
Yeah, he's got a new body.
Yep, new body.
And so he's like, he's kind of worried. She's like, my companion spared you. They thought I would want to get vengeance on you once I was reborn. But no, why would I want to destroy one with such passion? I've been watching you. I saw you like defending those singers. And he's like, why are you treating them like this so poorly? You're just going to sacrifice them? Like you're treating them like humans. That's messed up. And she says, do you think an empire is built without sacrifice? I breathe again because of their sacrifice, and this world will be ours because of sacrifice. And she's also like, so you're not mad that we took your shards? And he's like, nah, they were given to me by a man I betrayed. I didn't deserve them. And then in his head is like, no, it's not your fault. You aren't angry that we conquer you? No. Then what does anger you? What is your passionate fury? And he says, vengeance. And he's like, yeah, I understand. Do you know why we fight? Let me tell you. So we don't get to hear what she says, but it seems to have an effect on him. And he thinks thousands of years of being reborn. What would that be like? They've never given up in thousands of years. And then he gets a piece of wood and he walks back to those parchment and he goes, I can train you with these. And Ken's like, sticks? No, dumbass. Spears. I can teach you how to use a spear. And the parchment are like, you know what? Okay. So yeah, it's very interesting. Like you guys mentioned, he's like taking what Kaladin did and replicating it, but on the other side.
Yeah, and not as well because he sucks.
I mean, he was the best with a spear aside from Kaladin's. So
yeah,
in that way, he doesn't suck. But in other ways,
I just say, how good a teacher is he though? Kaladin wasn't a bad teacher.
That's true.
Yeah, he's gonna come face to face with Kaladin eventually, and Kaladin's gonna be like, "Don't fuck with the Jedi Master, son."
It's so Alone Together is chapter 55, and it is a R'lain perspective, which I think may be the first time we've had that. And he's thinking about like how, you know, the people around him can't hear the rhythms. And, you know, it's sad. Maybe the humans wouldn't feel so alone if they could. But he's thinking about how all his people died and how like, this is what he has now. It's not amazing or anything. Like there's problems with what he has now, but Bridge 4 at least, they're cool. Not that they're perfect, but you know. And he thinks about, you know, it was just me and Scar, well, and David, who couldn't draw in Stormlight, and everyone had encouraged Scar and given him pep talks, but no one thought about R'lain. Maybe he would have liked somebody to encourage him. The Parchman and the Insane Man, people you couldn't trust as Windrunners. And apparently all 4 of the scout women, including Lynn, have been able to draw in Stormlight. So have some other men from other bridge crews, and Captain Kolot, the archer guy that we saw, the Light Eyes. And they're all out there training and working, and R'lain's still over here not.
I feel like an archer with lashing power could be really deadly. Just like, see that guy over there?
Yeah.
Lash an arrow to him. Done.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he thinks about like he loves Bridge 4 because they try. They're not always great, but they try to like be considerate of him. They don't even notice him a lot of the time, but when they do, it's positive. It's like, hey, R'lain, you should show those guys how a real bridgeman does a kata, eh? Kelek help them if we have to fight those shell heads, Eth said. And he's like, no offense, R'lain. And I have Rocks over here like, R'lain is okay to throw things at Eth. He has hard head too, almost like he has shell. And then he says, it's okay, because that's what they expect him to say. And there's a whole comedy bit where Eth really likes this drink that Rock has prepared, and he's like, oh yeah, that's the water that I boiled the Kremlings in last night. And Eth is very upset about this. Like, you ate the Kremlings? Well, yeah, but this is their bath water. Chilled, with spices. It's good taste.
It's just like drinking gravy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the same problem he does, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
I don't have the same problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly want to boil something and then drink the water afterwards, but
I mean, you often use water, like you use pasta water with the pasta a little bit. Like you use the water you've boiled stuff in stuff. It makes
man,
sense.
you must be better at making pasta than me. I don't do that.
Oh, you're always supposed to retain some of the pasta water. But anyway.
But do you drink the pasta water with added spices?
That's fair. I mean, if it
Yeah.
tasted good, I wouldn't object to drinking
Yeah.
it.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Like, what spices should we'd be adding to pasta water?
That's a good question.
If only we could consult Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I do drink the milk after eating cereal, but I don't eat cereal that much anymore because I'm an adult.
Yeah, me either. I haven't been able to convince the kids to try cereal with milk in it. They're just like, no, it tastes good. Why would I want to put milk in there?
Because it's delicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Relaine gets kind of upset when they're talking about like, why are the Fuse doing what they're doing? Hey, Relaine, do you have any insight? And Relaine's like, why would I know that? Well, I mean, they're like your kinsmen. You got to know something about them. And Relaine's like, no, my people did everything we could for hundreds of years to not have anything to do with them. I know them less well than you, that they're my enemy more than anybody else.
Yeah, so get off my back about it.
And I love that when somebody else comes in and it's like, hey, maybe we should ask Relaine. Everybody else is like, no, don't bring that up with Relaine.
Shut
It's not a
your
good idea.
mouth. Don't do it.
But Kaladin and the crew that he's taken out on patrol come back, and things are going well. But Kaladin's going to have to leave soon, and everyone's like, oh, we lose our powers if he's gone for like 20 minutes. So I guess we're done flying for the day. And then Scar's like, hey, so are we going to talk about Renarin? Like, he's hanging out with scholars and like learning. Like, it's almost like he's learning to read. It's very feminine stuff that this guy's up to. And Kaladin's like, dude, Drehy, you are literally courting a man. Like, who are you to be calling out Renarin for doing something feminine? And then the whole crew is like, hey, why you gotta be on Drehy like that? Are you trying to say that courting a man is feminine? If anything, he likes being around women less than any of us because he's trying to hook up with a guy. He's the most manly.
He's the manliest man of them all. He loves men.
Yeah. And Kaladin's like, okay, I wasn't trying to insult Drehy. I'm sorry. I was making a point that, like, you know, let Renarin do what he wants. Oh, absolutely. It makes complete sense. The manliest of men. And Kaladin's like there's 5 women that we've let into our group, and we're halfway to being light eyes. Like, give Renarin some slack to figure out what's going to work for him, you know? And then Rock calls out, like, hey, like, over the last few weeks, most of you have come to talk to me and saying you don't feel like you fit in with Bridge 4. So, you know, maybe let's not encourage that sort of, isolating of people. He's like, how many of you came? And, like, almost everybody's raising their hands. And even Hobber, and Rock's like, Hobber, you didn't come to talk to me. He's like, yeah, but I felt it.
Yeah, I thought about coming to talk to you, but, I didn't do it.
Huio's over here like, I have trouble Alethi. Makes me embarrassing. Alone. Poor Huio. I love that one guy, Torfin. I don't even know if we've met Torfin before.
I was going to say, I am certain we have never heard this name before. Who the fuck is this guy?
See, it'd be funny if he spoke up and they were just like, who are you?
He doesn't even
where
go
did you
here.
come from?
Or even better, classic Torfin. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. That's exactly what we've come to expect from you, Torfin.
Yeah. What a great addition you've been. You've been here since the beginning, right? Nobody would argue that.
Torfin is scared of heights. He started flying and he's real scared of it. And it's like, oh, that kind of sucks.
It's like, can you imagine? It's like, yeah, we're going to learn to fly. Like, okay.
Can I go be with one of the other Radiants?
Yeah. I just imagine his internal dialogue the whole time. It's like, oh my God, 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 I hate this, oh my God.
Maybe we need to find a better place for Torfin in the organization. I'm just saying. Poor guy.
Yeah.
And so, as we're having this big discussion, everyone's like trying to encourage each other and stuff. And Relaine's like, I mean, nobody's asking me how I feel about it. Like, I'm the only one here who's an entirely different species, and they all feel like they're outsiders. Which
I feel like Rock just gave him the opportunity to say how he felt about it. But
that's what I was going to say. It's like the others spoke up to say, hey, here's how I'm feeling. You can do that too. Like, these are your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I empathize with how Relaine is feeling, but like it's throughout the chapter, I'm just like, you could say something.
Right. And I think that's
Yeah.
what we get to at the end of the chapter, right? He's like, do you actually want to hear it? Because I think up to this point, he's thinking they don't want to hear what I think or what I have to say or how I feel. And Kaladin's like, no, I mean, I do want to know. Like, I'll try to understand.
I feel like Kaladin's exposed to it because like he he says to Relaine, "I know how you feel," and Relaine's like, "Do you?" And Kaladin's like, "Right, that line didn't work for the other Parchman that I spoke to."
I
Really
forgot
got-
about that. You're right.
I really got to temper that line. I know how you feel, because turns out I actually don't.
Yep.
Oof.
But Kaladin, he goes, you know what? You're right. And he pulls over a bucket and puts it upside down and sits down. He's like, "Can you tell me how it feels?" And Relaine goes, "You know what? Yeah, I'll try." So it's kind of a sad chapter. Although I agree that Relaine, some of it is speak up for yourself, my man. I can understand. I probably wouldn't want to either, because that just draws more attention to your differences.
Oh yeah, it's like from the outside looking in like this, it's easy to say, man, you got to advocate for yourself. But like we've all been there, where it's like I need to speak up to make myself heard, but I worry what will happen if I speak up, so I don't. Like, been there.
In that way, I think the chapter is really well written because it is so relatable, even though he is a weird alien crab human. But
Hey, don't say that about Relaine. What a dick.
at least I didn't say, like, he's so odd. That Renarin Relaine guy.
Yeah.
now you're saying Relaine.
But yes, it's like a kind of an uplifting moment to end the chapter on. And I'm like, you know what? I hope that you can make yourself understood here.
Yeah. I hope Kaladin and Relaine become the two best friends that anyone ever had.
And so we end our section. Our last two chapters are Dalinar's Dalinar's vision. He's brought Navani and Yasna in again, and this is the one at Feverstone Keep where the recreance happens, where the Radiants lay down their weapons. And Yasna and Navani are instantly, in scholar mode. Like, it's all bronze weapons, and Yasna goes, and this armor is soul cast. You can see finger marks in the metal. So she decides, I think we're 2,000 years ago. Those are Haravangian swords, and look at the architectural stuff here, and the dye being used on these cloaks. I'm pretty sure that I can place this time period. And I love that she calls out, that means that the Recreance is a little more recent than Masha, daughter Shaliv, had it in her history. Like that's where her mind immediately goes. It's like, okay, that history book was a little bit wrong. I can fix that. And she thinks maybe it's during the False Desolation, which is considered a legend now, like something that didn't really happen. But maybe that's wrong. And Navani's like, you know what? I'm going to go figure out where this Feverstone Keep is if I have to bully one of these guys into drawing me a map. We're going to figure this out. And we have Yanagon, or Gox, whatever you want to call him. He's in this vision again. And he sees Dalinar. He's like, do I have to fight today? Or I'm getting real tired of these visions, dude.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to sleep over here, and you keep making me have these weird ass dreams.
It's like, even when I go to bed, you expect me to work. Come on.
I'm just a kid, man.
I'm just a kid with a wacky dream.
Man, I died and got woken up, and now my sleep is invaded by dreams. Like, fucking hell, I can't catch a break.
It's true.
Yeah. I never thought I'd say this, but kind of wish I was dead.
They watch the Radiants lay down their blades, and the kid's like, why did they give up? And Dalinar says, I don't know, but I can guess. Like, stuff became about politics. They lost sight of what their goal was, like protecting the people and all that stuff. And Yanagon, for his side, it's like, look, you think that I'm important. I get that. And Dalinar's like, what? The Azish Empire is really important. Like, you guys are a big deal. He's like, well, yeah, Azir is. I am not. I'm just like the kid that they put on the throne because they were afraid the Assassin in White would show up again. And Dalinar's like, well, what about the miracle that they're talking about? The proof that you were chosen by the heralds? And he's like, no, that was Lift. Yeah, I didn't actually do anything except for not die. And the Viziers are scared of you, more scared than they are of the Assassin, he tells Dalinar. He burned the Emperor's eyes, but Emperors can be replaced. They're afraid that you're going to destroy our entire culture. And Yanagon's like, so Lift doesn't trust you? She says, because you act so righteous, and that anyone who acts like you do is trying to hide something. And then he gets distracted by Honor or whatever, the representation showing up and being like, saying his spiel that he says in this particular vision. And Dalinar expects the vision to end, and then it doesn't. And he's like, what's going on? Stormfather? And he gets no reply. And then there's a guy standing there in white and gold. So here we go. The man was old, with a wide, furrowed face and bone-white hair that swept back from his head as if blown by wind. I mean, Mr. Burns is bald, right? But it's he does have the white hair that's kind of swept back away from the hair that he does have.
Yeah, he's got a little bit.
Yeah.
Thick mustaches with a hint of black in them, blended into a short white beard. So that's not very Mr. Burnsy, but
It is from the casino episode where he went full Howard Hughes.
okay.
So
And-
Casino Burns, got it.
Yep. We'll take the spruce moose. Hop in. But sir, I said hop in.
Yep. Classic. Got the Kleenex boxes on his feet.
Yep.
So this guy also has a crown and a golden scepter. And Dollar's like, wait, I know you. You're him. You're God.
I think I missed out on the crown part before. This guy really thinks a lot of himself.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, Downer says you're God, and he goes, yes.
Someone asks if you're a god, you say
You
yes.
say yes. Exactly. Yeah, he's seen the movie. Downer says, where have you been? And he's like, I've always been here with you, Dalinar. I've watched you for a long time. And he's like, wait, you're not the Almighty, are you? Honor? No, he's really dead. I'm the other one. They call me Odium. And that's the end of that chapter, which would be very dramatic place to end, but we get one more.
That was a massive oh shit moment.
I mean,
Yeah.
Did you guys know who it was before he said who he was? Or what were you thinking?
No.
clue.
I was just like, I thought it was Frost at first. I was like, oh, is that Frost? But wait, the mustache.
I had no fucking clue.
And so our last chapter is Passion. And Donald's like, holy shit, Odium. Odium's here, like right in front of me. And he reaches mentally for the Stormfather and senses something. It's like a sound of someone straining. He gets something heavy. No, that's a whimper. So the Stormfather is like cowering and whimpering in a corner because Odium has shown up.
That's got to be something, right? Like you're bonded to this almighty being, even though they're not the almighty. Probably terrible choice of words there.
Most
And
mighty.
then to just have them the almost
Oh, I like that.
mighty. Yeah, and then to have them cowering in the corner. At first I was like, has Odium like restrained him somehow? But it doesn't sound like he has that ability. The Stormfather is just really not wanting to be around, which like is fair, I guess. I feel like stand up for yourself, dude. Just be here. Be uncomfortable with it. Be accepting that you're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. Where's that sass and sarcasm now?
Mm. He says, as the person who managed to take the bin out while there was a huntsman spider in the garage the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, brave, right? Standing up to your enemies.
That is
then,
something I
like,
would want to do.
Yeah, I'm very scared of spiders. So
Well, and the huntsman spider, that's like,
Not cool.
terrifying.
nah, they're harmless. They're big,
Yep.
but they're harmless.
But they're
I
big.
I once told Poet about those, and he's just like, I will never come to Australia. There's a spider there called a huntsman. I'm like, dude, it's harmless. And he goes, it's in the name. It hunts man.
I mean, not wrong.
Oh man, yeah. That makes me think of the time Poet also told me I could never play Skyrim in VR. I'd have a heart attack because of the spiders.
Yeah, fair.
I love it. Back to the thing. Odium decides to tell him, it's like, hey, actually, you're wrong about why the Radiants fell. There was like political stuff going on, but not more than at other times. They were honest men and women with different views at times, but unified in their desire to do what was best. Which is an interesting, like, Odium's like, oh no, actually, these were decent dudes. It seems weird to me that that's his perspective on it, given that he's the leader of the opposite side, but whatever. And Dalinar, instead of asking a question, which I feel like Odium's trying to open it up to that, like, ask me what actually happened. Dalinar's like, what do you want? Like, why are you here? And Odium just kind of like strolls over, sits down on a rock and chills and nods to the space next to him.
I probably would have gotten the answer to that question and then asked him that, but I'm an inquisitive type.
Yeah. And Odium's like, you've been placed in a difficult position, my son. He's really trying to get like this personal connection with Dalinar, it seems like. You were the first to bond with the Stormfather in his current state. You're deeply connected with the remnants of a god. And Dalinar goes, who you killed? He's like, yes, I'll kill the other one too, eventually. she's hidden herself somewhere, and I'm too shackled. And Dalinar's like, you're a monster. Oh, Dalinar, this from you, of all people? Tell me you've never found yourself in conflict with someone you respected. Tell me you've never killed a man because you had to, even if in a better world he didn't deserve it. And Dalinar's like, damn it, yeah, I've done that a lot, actually. And Dalinar starts to think, like, he tells Dalinar, just come sit down, man, it's fine, I'm not going to bite you. And Dalinar thinks, I should listen to this guy, I should hear what he says, even if it's all lies, like, I can get information here.
He's got a point, but that's still a dangerous thought to have.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What do you know of us three, Odium asks. And Dalinar says, honestly, I didn't even know there were three of you. More, in fact, but only three of relevance to you. Me, honor, and cultivation. You speak of her, don't you? And Dalinar's like, I guess. Some people identify her with Roshar, like the spren of the world itself. And he's like, yeah, she'd like that. I wish I could simply let her have this place. And he goes, well, so do that. Like, go away and leave us alone. And this is where Odium, like, suddenly shit gets real. He's like, is that an offer to release me from my bonds, coming from the man holding the remnants of honor's name and power? And Dalinar thinks, like, idiot! Just pull yourself together, dude. It's like, no, he says. And Odium's like, oh, okay then. Don't worry about it. These things must be done properly. I will go if you release me, but only if you do it by intent. So we established, I think all the way back in Mistborn, that in the magic systems in the Cosmere, intent is important. You sometimes you can do things because you intend to do them, and it's hard to do some of these things by accident. And so Dalinar's like, so what would be the consequences of me releasing you? Just while we're on the subject, he goes, well, I'd have to kill cultivation first, of course, and there'd be other consequences. And Dalinar's
Why?
like, yeah, couldn't you just go and not kill anyone?
But also it's like, what are the consequences? Well, I killed cultivation, and then there'd be more consequences. Such as...
What are those other consequences? Would I die? Would my people die? I also like how he's like, couldn't you leave and not kill anyone? It's like, isn't that what your wife asked you, bro? Like, couldn't you not kill those people?
Ooh, yep. Zing. And Odium relates it to, like, why did you take control of Alethkar from poor Elhokar? Because you knew it was best. You knew Elhokar was weak and the kingdom would suffer. And you took control, and it has served Roshar well. A man cannot serve two gods at once, Dalinar, and so I cannot leave her behind. Once you release me, my transformation of this entire realm will be substantial. And Dalinar's like, why would you be better than anyone else? You are the manifestation of hatred. And he's like, they call me Odium. Good enough name, certainly has some bite to it, but it's too limiting. I don't just represent hate, I represent passion, lust and joy and hatred and anger and exultation. Like, I'm all of those things. I'm the thing that makes men men. That's a claim to make, but okay.
Also, then why isn't passion his name?
Right? Yeah. It certainly seems a lot more positive than Odium.
All the other shard names seem to have come with the connotations beholden to the name, like preservation, ruin, and we saw those getting passed from person to person when they took up the mantle. It was taking the mantle of ruin or the mantle of preservation. So
Yep.
why is Odium not his all-encapsulating name?
Yeah. I strongly suspect that he's full of shit, but who knows?
Cool.
Honor care only for bonds, not the meaning behind them, just that they were kept. And cultivation only wants to see transformation, growth, whether it's good or bad. Only I understand the pain of men. Only I care, Dalinar. Which I could have, if cultivation only cares about, growth, like the growth of a disease is just as good as the growth of a person, that would be a dangerous god to, want on top. But
I guess, like, we can see some truth to that because we know that, like, preservation was so obsessed with things not changing that he thought the Lord Ruler was a top bloke. So
yep, he sure
you
did.
can sort of see the truth in what he's saying. It's like, like when these people, like, I guess you can sort of see it with Stormfather as the leftover piece of honor. He was all about, no, Kaladin broke his oath to Syl, so fuck that guy. And Syl had to directly appeal. And it's like, but he respected the meaning behind the oath to get Stormfather to renege.
Yep. Or at the very least, Kaladin, maybe he made a mistake, but he's trying to do better.
He's trying to fix the bond.
Yeah.
Because the bond is broken doesn't mean it can't be repaired.
That, hopefully, yeah. And then Dalinar does come back around to that question. So, okay, if I was wrong about what made them abandon their oath, what was it really? And Odium says, passion, son. Glorious, wondrous passion. Which is not at all helpful. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty stupid response. Appreciate it.
And he tells him, maybe passion is disturbing. Maybe it could fill a man up until it breaks him. But can you imagine a world without it? Ask Cultivation next time you see her what she would want for Roshar and see if you still think she's a better choice than me. And Tyler goes, wait, next time? I've never seen her. Of course you have. She simply robbed you of that memory. Her touch is not how I would have helped you. It stole a part of you away. Left you like a blind man who can't remember that he once had sight. And then Dalinar just jumps up like, I offer you a challenge of champions with terms to be discussed. Do you accept? Because we were told before, this is the one chance if you can convince him to take a challenge. And Odium's like, yeah, no. Why would I do that? I know that you're going to make the right decision, Dalinar. I know that you're going to free me. And Dalinar's like, no, you shouldn't have revealed yourself. I was scared of you before, but now that I've seen you, I can fight you. You've seen me, have you? Curious. And then we get that moment that I know I've seen somewhere else where it's like, oh, you think this is me? How cute. Let me show you me. And it's just fire from horizon to horizon, flames of all colors, angry, violent flames, and power. And it's just like he can feel. It's the scream of 1,000 warriors on the battlefield, the most sensual touch and ecstasy, loss and victory, and hatred, deep pulsing hatred. The heat of 1,000 suns, like it's a lot to take in. And once it stops, Dalinar's just like on the ground, and Odium's like, there. That was a smidge too much, wasn't it? I'd forgotten how overwhelming it can be. Here, have a drink. And then as he's talking to Dalinar, he stops and looks around. And Dalinar's like, what? He's like, no, nothing. Just an old man's mind playing tricks on him. We'll talk again. And then he vanishes. And a moment later, a girl's voice is like, that guy is creepy. And here's Lift, who somehow snuck right past him without being seen. I mean, all old men are creepy. Seriously, all wrinkly and hey, want some sweets? And oh, listen to this boring story. But even as old people go, that one was extra creepy. What was that thing, tight butt? Just
there are moments you need comic relief. I'm not convinced this was one of those moments.
I think it helps a little bit after what we just experienced. But maybe you're right. Maybe it would have been a lot more dramatic to end when Odium left.
I don't need the deflation of the Odium terror. It kind of is cool to experience this guy means business.
Yeah, it's like let that breathe.
Mm. And Dalinar tells her they call it Odium. That's what we fight. And she goes, huh, compared to that, you're nothing. And he goes, thank you. And this one she says, I'll talk to Gox. We'll go visit your tower. And you got good food there? Okay. Also, don't tell Gox about that Odium thing, all right? He's got too many old people to worry about already. And then she vanishes, and that is the end of part 2. So, yeah. Let's move into predicaments. For next time, we're going to do 5 chapters. And, 3 interludes and then 2 chapters. So the interludes are called Kaza, Taravangian, and Venli. So we get a little more Taravangian. You guys usually like that. And then we're also reading chapters 58 and 59, and those are called Burdens and Bondsmith. So what do you guys think? Where are we going? What's going to happen as we move into the part 3, which part 3 is called Defying Truth, Love Truth, for whatever good that does you. Oh, and I guess we can talk about who's the perspectives also. We do that, right?
Yeah.
It says Dalinar, Shallan, Kaladin, and Adolin. So nothing shocking.
Okay. Yeah. Basically our big characters again. Okay.
Yep. No Bridge 4 this time, though, which is a little bit sad, I feel like.
Well, I don't think... Were they included as...
Yeah, the last time.
Oh, it was? Okay, my bad.
Just as soon as we got Yasna perspectives, we lost them again.
Yeah, and we had no Kaladin perspectives in part 2, except for him being part of Bridge 4, I guess. But yeah, now Yasna's back out.
Man, where are we going? I don't know. If Kaza is a character we knew before, I apologize. I don't remember that name.
No, I think she's new, or he.
Okay.
I don't even know.
Well, you do know, but
I
anyway.
don't remember offhand. Like, I haven't read that one in a little bit.
So we've got that interlude. We'll meet a new character. Should be interesting. Oh yeah, Taravangian. We have a love-hate relationship with him. He's interesting, but he's evil. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop on that. So an interlude to see maybe what he's doing behind the scenes at Uruthira would be good, because from our heroes' perspectives that we've seen on Uruthira, they're completely fooled by the act he puts on. So it'd be interesting to see maybe behind the curtain a little bit while he's at Uruthira and see if he's up to something. Specifically there.
Oh, and I said the last one was called Venli. I'm sorry. That is who the last one is. The last one is called This One Is Mine.
Well, I don't know on that one. Burdens, I mean, could be Shallan. Bondsmith's got to be Dalinar. Where are we going in this part? Well, Odium's presented himself, right? Dalinar's not really still any closer to figuring out what he needs to do to defeat him, because it's like the one option he thought he was supposed to take and have. Odium's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So we're kind of at this weird, like, what does Dalinar do for the overarching problem besides, like, try to bond the people together and unite them? How do they learn or even come to have an idea of how to fight Odium, right? So maybe that's what this part will focus on. I would assume that if they are going to go to Kholinar, maybe it will focus a lot on Kholinar as well and the conflict there. And so we've got a lot of things that can happen. I mean, this is still only like halfway through the book, so there's tons and tons of possibilities here. But overall, it would be nice to kind of get the Kholinar thing started. So hopefully we'll see that in this upcoming part.
It does feel like about time that we got to Kholinar, right? We were building to it for at least all of part 2. So, and we got Kaladin perspectives again, so maybe that makes sense. As far as Dalinar goes, yeah, maybe this is where we set up how we're going to fight. That would be nice. We know that Queen Fen is willing to visit, and Lift says she's going to talk to Gox about it. So maybe we'll make progress on this whole let's get the world united around helping. That would be something, at least, even if it's not exactly a plan.
Okay. In terms of the actual chapter titles, I'm not really sure what's going to happen in each chapter. Obviously, the interludes at this stage are probably not going to contribute a whole lot to our story, except the Taravangian one. I'm super interested to see what happens there, because, yeah, we all know he's been in Uruthira for a little bit of time now, and playing whatever game he's playing. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. Maybe a conversation with his primary aid person, scribe. What's her name? Adrotaja? Is that her?
Yeah, Adrotaja. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so just like maybe, a bit of a conversation with them would be really cool. I'd like to see something like that. Venli, we're coming back to her each set of interludes in this book, it seems. So a bit more on what's happening with the fused there would be good to get a bit of their view on what's happening. We're seeing a bit from the Parshman and obviously the Alethi, so it'd be nice to see what they're going through. Where we're going in part 3, I think from those perspective characters, realistically, we have to be going to see what's happening in Kholinar. So I can't remember who mentioned it in the story, but we were, talking about them departing in a couple of hours, like it might have been Kaladin or something like that. So if they're getting ready to move people around, we've got to be going there in this part. And that's where our fused and Parchman friends are, and Moash are ending up. So that looks like perhaps where that journey is going to go. It would be good to see what's happening with like Dalinar and the other leaders. So getting Dalinar kind of separated from the other characters, because Shallan's gearing up to go, Kaladin's going, and I think Adolin was going.
Yep, he sure is.
As well. So yeah, it really leaves Dalinar without a lot of people, and to have a couple of Radiants go, maybe we get to see a bit more of what's going on with Renarin and sort of Yasna, even though from Dalinar's perspective, I think that would be nice to see a bit more of the Dalinar and Renarin thing that's happening. We know Dalinar showed up for him a couple of times, and obviously Renarin's got a lot going on with being a Radiant and he's all mysterious, and Yasna's very curious about what's happening with him. So I think it would be that's a trio I'd probably like to explore a little bit more. So I hope we do get a bit of that. Yes, there'll be, hey, I've spoken to Odium in this vision, and I think probably the next interaction with Dalinar I want to see is him and Stormfather probably talking through what just happened. That's a shared experience from them. So that's a whole lot more information that needs to be addressed there. Whether Stormfather will be so forthcoming, who knows? We know as well, like Stormfather and Yasna both have information that they're not willing to share yet. So hopefully something will come to light about that. You never know. Maybe Taravangian will get up to something in this next part. So start to see his true colours a little bit. But it would be cool if we could get some of these other world leaders together and sort of see the dynamic of them all in one place. That would be really cool. And there's lots of possibilities. There's a lot of book to go, but there's a lot of possibilities of what we might see next.
I like what you mentioned about like we've just had this situation come up. Maybe Dalinar and the Stormfather can have a conversation about it and actually get some information. Do we think that it's likely the Stormfather is going to be any more forthcoming after this, or is it still going to be like pulling teeth, getting stuff out of him?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably still going to be like pulling teeth a bit out of him, but I don't know. There's no one else here that's involved, and it's a pretty stunning confrontation. You know, how is Odium bound? What is that Odium able to do? Like Dalinar's got to have all these other questions, not to mention questions about cultivation and who is she, and we obviously know more about that than Dalinar does at the moment. We've got flashbacks to see coming through, but you know, to have Dalinar be able to talk to the Stormfather and actually ask these questions, because I guess I kind of didn't realize the characters didn't know so much. You know, they know. Sorry, Dalinar's line, and I didn't know there were three of you. It's like, whoa, how did you not know there were three? And I guess we've got a little bit more information there than our characters do. So it would be nice for them to learn a bit of that. And you know, you think they're preparing for this fight and they're getting themselves in a good position, and then you're like, oh, actually, you've got no idea what's going on. This is cute. Please continue playing your little game and let's see what's going on.
Oh, it's so true. It's it's interesting to realize how little they know about some of the things, for sure. You also made a good point where we've talked about it before, how we're Moash and Kaladin and now Shallan. Not that I think Shallan cares about Moash, but we're heading to the same place. And now we know that Moash has decided he's going to train his own Bridge 4, Wagon 4, or whatever, as we said previously, as a spear unit. So does that change your thoughts on like what is it going to look like when these groups meet each other, if they meet each other? I mean, they're all going to be at Kolinar, so presumably. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had thought before that maybe Moash would come back to Bridge 4 in some way and go, hey, this is the information that I have. But now he's been granted, you know, mercy to live and walk free effectively from the fused. He's already saying he's got it better. You know, I've got clothes, I've got solid boots, I've got sleep for a certain amount of hours a day, I'm fed. You know, so far it's very much looking like the grass is always greener over with the Parshman. I don't necessarily think that he would come back to Bridge 4. So when they do actually meet, I don't know that that's going to go like as well. I don't think he's going to expect a warm reception. The other guys probably would give it to him, but maybe he would like turn them down or do something against them. Like I think he's going to be very firmly in the enemy's camp now than come back. So I don't think it would be, I think it would be quite frosty. I think it would be potentially pretty nasty with Kaladin, even though Kaladin's got all these abilities. Yeah, it could get quite bad, but I don't think Moash is coming back.
Okay. Yeah, that given what we've seen here, I can see that.
Yes, I think Moash is very firmly in the, like, he's sticking with his new friends, the fused, at this point. like right at the end, I think is like of his section there. I think is the most important part of Moash's thing was like Kaladin is protecting a murderer. It's like at the end of it all, Moash is never going to come back to the fold based on that because he still hates Elhokar, and he will always resent Kaladin for protecting him. And we know Elhokar is going to be part of the group in Kholinar. So yeah, that's going to be the tipping point. Moash is doubling down on his backing off of Alethi stuff, and when he sees Kaladin and Elhokar together, he's only going to double down even further. Triple down, quadruple down, if you will. So that's what's going to happen as far as that goes. The Taravangian interlude, looking forward to his interlude because we've only really gotten that one peek inside his head, which changed everything. Well, no, sorry, didn't change everything, but it like gave us a lot more perspective. The change everything was when he met Seth in book 1.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be cool to see what he's been doing since he's been to Urithiru. I suspect maybe we'll see either Gorks or Queen Fen arrive in his interlude so we can see his thoughts on what he wants to do with all the monarchs, because he'll have his own plans for that.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. Long term, I'm wondering if he's like Amaram, where he's doing the wrong things, but he reckons he's doing it for the good of Roshar, or if Taravangian is all in on Odium or not. I don't know. Or maybe we know he visited the Night Watcher, so we know he met Cultivation. Maybe he thinks that Odium is the better offer than her, so maybe he's trying to release Odium, and maybe he wants to take down Dalinar and be the one to release Odium. Who knows? Maybe that's a long-term prediction, but I still don't know what to make of what Taravangian's up to. Yeah, don't really have much else. The other two have really covered a lot of. I had similar thoughts to what they were saying, but I think that we're getting into the meat of it.
It does feel a little meaty. Yeah. Okay.
I'll admit that like there was a while there in this book. I'm like, all right, we're 2 1/3 books into this series, and maybe not as much has happened as I thought would have happened by now. So I'm like, all right, let's get to the hectic shit.
As for what Taravangian is after, there was one section that we read that I felt like gave a hint, and so I was bringing that back up. When we saw his perspective that time that he's strolling into
Yakaved.
Yakaved, when he's going to become king. He says, "Did I ever tell you, Adro, what I asked for?" And she's like, "Yes." And he says, "Capacity. Capacity to stop what was coming. The capacity to save humankind." And then, that is, I think, the biggest piece that we have.
Yeah. I guess it's like we don't know really, like what does that mean? Because depending on what he believes, like he could mean saving humankind by unleashing Odium in some way. That may not necessarily be accurate, but it doesn't have to be. As long as he believes it's accurate, that could be true.
True. The other bit is at the end of that section. He thinks that after he becomes king, I've taken the first step towards unifying the world, as Gavilar had insisted if they were to survive. Gavilar told him about his vision 6 years ago. He'd seen visions of the Almighty who was dead. "I'm doing my best, Gavilar. I'm sorry that I need to kill your brother." So, there's some tiny hints, but you're right. We don't have a good handle on, like, what is your deal, dude?
Yeah, still no real answers.
The dude is squirrely, like...
Maybe he's trying to take the Shard's power. Maybe he's like, all right, Racy had his turn, now I will be Odium.
He's like, I mean, I guess that would be a way to save them if you became the leader of the other side, and you're like, you know what? Hey guys, why don't we just not kill those guys? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move into, we got a couple emails, we got a couple new patrons. So we'll do that bit. I'll do emails first, Joe. You can pull up your you'll need your review list also, because we got a couple of screenshots of some reviews here in the emails. Okay, we've got like 4 emails. We'll read a couple of them. This is going to be a longer one. This one is from Lindsay, and the title is it just Digimon? So, Lindsay says, "Hello, crew. Just got to the episode near the end of Words of Radiance where we all discussed the fact that the Stormfather is being some kind of jerk. And I had to write in to share thoughts I had on this back when I was a few chapters into Oathbringer. Maybe a bit of a niche reference, but it occurred to me that the Spren-human relationship and the realms, like physical, Shadesmar, is pretty much the Digimon, Digidestined, and digital worlds set up in Digimon. This came up as I was thinking about how cute and fun the main characters Spren are, except the Stormfather, who is a drag, and how it's like the cute Digimon companions were at the start, and then occasionally one would be so serious. Can't unsee it. Currently trying to decide whether I should start listening to your coverage of Oathbringer and inevitably catch up and have to suffer the gap between episodes, or if I should spend that time reading Rhythm of War and Wind and Truth, which I've not gotten to yet, for no good reason other than I'm daunted by them, and then binge the Oathbringer episodes once you're through the book. 5-star rating attached from a South African fan listening from Ireland, Linz, and she does attach the 5-star rating. So before we get to the rating, what do you think? I know Joe at least is a Digimon fan. So does it feel like Digimon?
The big thing that's missing that is something exciting to me about Digimon is the evolution. They're not really evolving into different creatures. They develop for sure, but they don't evolve.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder if the Stormfather was a Digimon, which one he would be. Which one is like all superior and annoying?
There's a lot of those. I don't know.
You're like, well, now that you mention it, yeah. What about Jack and Jamie? Digimon fans? I don't know.
I only ever watched
It may shock you. It may shock you, but no, I've never seen Digimon.
Fair.
I only ever watched like the series about the Tamers, that one, which I quite liked that.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either. Interesting.
It was like series 3 or something. I really liked it. I never saw series 1 or 2, and I saw a bit of series 4, which is the one where they didn't have a partner Digimon, they turned into Digimon, which was weird.
That is weird.
That is odd, yeah.
And then I didn't get very far with that.
Yeah. I just remember the English dub, trying to go back and watch it as an adult, and it's pretty hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried to watch that anytime recently. I do have positive memories of this from childhood, but also a lot of them are actually more about the game. Joe knows the PlayStation Digimon game. That was a great one.
Yeah, it's called Digimon World. It is quite possibly one of the best games of the PlayStation era. If you ever get a copy of it, you could probably find it online. It's a little pricey because I think it's such a well-liked game. The sequels look absolutely terrible, so I wouldn't bother with those.
Sorry, you sent me looking to see if is there like a place where you can just play that online? I wonder.
No, I don't think. I mean, besides like an illegal emulator, I don't think there's like a place you could play it online. I've looked several times. It's a Bandai game, and they're pretty tight-lipped they're pretty tight sealed with their copyright stuff. Like they don't. I haven't seen a lot of their games on digital download. At least not their old stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so 5-star rating here. What are you going to give her?
Oh, Linz, thanks for the 5-star rating. Awesome. I would be interested to know your history, how you came to be in Ireland from South Africa. I would love to know that. I had a teacher in high school from South Africa. He was, I'm not going to say jerk. He just wasn't super nice. He wasn't a super nice guy. Lovely accent, but not a super nice guy. So I'd love to know your history. You sound like a great person. You soothed me with that 5-star review. So I'm gonna make you a soother.
Very nice. Thank you, Linz. Okay, let's do one more. We can get one more. This one is from Finn, and Finn has been helpful enough to send us a little bit of information that we were asking for. So the title of this email is Herdazian Dictionary. It says, "Hi gang, been really enjoying the podcast, and I appreciate the crew for hanging in there for these crazy long books. Not sure if y'all are big tabletop RPG people, but I've been going through the Cosmere RPG Stormlight books, and they're pretty awesome. One of the books, the World Guide, is basically just a lore encyclopedia for Roshar, though newbies beware, there are a ton of spoilers in there all the way through book 5. I thought I'd attach this snippet given the recent discussion about Goncho and Hooch, which the definitions for which are given here. So I do have the digital copies of like the World Guide and stuff. I haven't had a chance to read them yet because when I have a chance to sit down and read stuff, I've been recording Isles of the Emberdark. Also, in my free time, I've been rereading Wind and Truth lately because I wanted to reread it since the first time I read it. But it is cool to know that there's this detailed of things in there. So there's several Herdazian words. Let's see which ones we know. Chowda is fried flatbread wrap with meat and sauce.
Sure.
We kind of got that.
Sounds delicious.
Gancho or gancha is an honorific for a superior. Gon is an abbreviation for gancho, so a shortened version of gancho. Hooch is someone who takes life too seriously. Do we know any other of these? I don't think we've heard mancha, but mancha is a cousin or someone who is like a cousin, which feels very open.
I think we have heard that one time.
Okay. Muli, someone who is nonverbal. Nako is a child. I don't know that we've heard that.
Yeah, that didn't sound familiar.
Penhito is a grouchy elderly man.
Don't think we've heard Penhito. Sounds kind of Spanish to me.
It does. Like that's why that one stands out to me because I'm like, that sounds like okay, yeah. Wasn't until the time in X.
That was the intention originally, before the audiobook got a hold of it, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it's because Brandon had a thing where it's like his wife was like, "Why is like Spanish culture never represented in fantasy books?" So yeah, that was kind of
yeah. Penhito sounds like a cutesy name, like you'd call your little cousin a Penhito or something.
So we got a couple more emails, but we'll save them for next time. And we have 3 new patrons since the last time we recorded.
Whoa, 3 new patrons. Holy smokies.
All at the ska level. So the first one is I'm not gonna say this name correctly. Arja, Arja.
That's how I would say it. Arja or Arja.
And I guess this
or even
this must,
Arya with a Y.
I'm guessing that this person is from Sweden because it shows that they have become a patron with Swedish kroner. So, or krona. Sorry, kroner is a different thing. So awesome to have a Swedish fan joining the Patreon.
Hey, it sucks to be a ska, but not today. Today, you get to be a fire soul. You store warmth.
Very nice. Very nice. Second person is Logan.
Logan, you get to be a steel runner.
Very, very cool. Okay. I've Steel Runner is a very cool but very dangerous one, as we learned.
Yep. In
Shadows of Self. And the last one for this week is Thomas.
Thomas, you're an archivist.
Yeah, nice. So thank you to our new patrons. And all of our patrons, really. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you. If you'd like to send us an email, like some folks did, the address is thesanderlanche@gmail.com. If you want to check out our Patreon, I'm still putting up my reactions my first time through Wind and Truth. So that's what's going up now. I got one comment after the last episode where I was like, hey, patrons, what would you prefer to see? If I kept doing Wind and Truth or if I started trying to mix in a little Isles of the Emberdark. And the one comment I got was like, finish up Wind and Truth. So I may keep doing that for now. But yeah, if you're interested in hearing my reactions to that kind of stuff, feel free to check out our Patreon. We've been talking again about like some other sorts of stuff we might throw on there. But for now, that is what's going up. You can also find us other places, Facebook, Blue Sky, things like that. We're on the internet, so check that stuff out. Remember, for next time, we are doing 5 chapters. So that's interludes 4, 5, and 6, and then chapters 58 and 59. So if you're following along, those are the chapters to read for next time. I think I'm going to shoot for 3 episodes at this longer length before we reevaluate and see, do we like that? Do we want to go back to the shorter length that we were doing before? So this episode went a little bit longer than usual, I think, but not like abnormally so. So we'll see as we get into those. But 5 episodes for next time. There are not going to be 5 episodes next time. 5 chapters for the next episode. Music by Miracle of Sound. And wasing to the time of next. Colo? P.S. Vasher. Crab at thee.
Coronas wide, supernovas die, fractured in the fateful fall of man. Feel the heart raging of a strength unseen. Unity will bring the upper hand. So look to the break of dawn.